Hello sweeties, I have 18 of this month's Natural Phenomenon Polish pickup shades to share with you today. Quick notes before we get started. After I swatch each polish, you'll see it under studio lighting, lower lighting, and then one coat over black. Let's get to it. First up is Celestial Dance by Amaya Cosmetics, inspired by the Northern Lights, described as a teal, blue, and purple multichrome with scattered hollow. Shown here in 2 coats, you may need 3 if you have a longer free edge. You can very much see all the different shifts no matter the lighting, but the pinkish purple shift does try to steal the show in the lower lighting. Celestial Dance is $13.50 with a cap of $2.50. Next is by Danny Viana's Frozen Bubbles, inspired by frozen lakes in Alberta. Described as a sheer blue jelly base with satin and matte white glitter dots. Shown here in 3 coats, it does dry with some texture, so a top coat is needed for a full glossy finish. So I realized once I went to crop the photos and do this video that I probably should have used a nude base coat with this one, because due to my health, I have very strong ridges and some damage on my nails, which seems to really pop on camera here, so I apologize for that. Looks the same no matter the lighting, except the blue base becomes a bit darker in the lower lighting. Frozen Bubbles is $14 with a cap of $500. Here we have Twister by Cupcake Polish, inspired by the sky during tornadoes. Described as a blue-gray cream filled with red to gold shimmer and silver holographic flakies. Shown here in 2 coats, you may need 3 if you have a longer free edge. It does dry with some texture, so a top coat is needed for a smooth glossy finish. You can see the pinkish red and gold shift in the studio lighting, but the gold morphs into like a yellowy green in the lower lighting. Twister is $13.50 with no cap. This is Cuticula's Blue Lava, inspired by Blue Lava. Described as a charcoal jelly base full of blue to aqua shifting glass flakes, orange to gold shifting glass flakes, and black flakes. Shown here in 3 coats, it does dry with some texture, so a top coat is needed for a full glossy finish. In the lower lighting, the gray base becomes much darker and the bright blue of the flakes take over. Blue Lava is $13 with no cap. Next is Garden Path Lacquers Told the Northern Lights to Keep Shining, inspired by the Northern Lights. Described as a grape purple base filled with magenta holographic microglitters, blue-green aurora shimmer, and holographic microflakes. Shown here in 3 coats, dries with subtle texture so a top coat is needed for a smooth glossy finish. The tail green of the shift is the most prominent in the studio lighting, but it morphs into a purplish blue in the studio lighting, which makes the magenta flakes really pop out. Told the Northern Lights to Keep Shining is $13.50 with a cap of $1,000. Here we have Glowing Whispers by Glam Polish, inspired by the Aurora Borealis above a serene snowy landscape. Described as an icy blue with shifting iridescent flakes, green to tail aurora shimmer, and a white glitter mix. Shown here in 2 coats, you may need 3 if you have a longer free edge. Dries with texture so a top coat is needed for a smooth glossy finish. This shifts from an icy blue with a tail shift to a medium blue in lower lighting. Glowing Whispers is $13.50 with a cap of $300. Next up is Glisten and Glow's Lightning Strikes, inspired by lightning strikes in the sky on a rainy night. Described as a light dove gray loaded with color-shifting shimmers that shift between green, blue, teal, purple, and pink, as well as hollow flakes. Shown here in 3 coats, dries with subtle texture so a top coat is needed for a full glossy finish. The greenish blue of the shimmer and a bit of the pinkish purple shift is seen in the studio lighting, but the purple really takes over in the lower lighting. Lightning Strikes is $13.50 with no cap. Another one from Glisten and Glow is their clear, shiny, fast-drying top coat. Described as a fast-drying top coat that once dry leaves your nails with super glossy, almost wet-like appearance. It helps keep your nails durable and chip resistant for days and works well over stamped polishes when using a bit of the floating method when applying it, as I show in this video. Shown here in one coat over lightning strikes plus stamped nail art. This fast drying top coat is $9.50 with no cap. Next is Hearts and Promises Passionate Pink Sunrise, inspired by a hot pink sunset. Described as a hot pink neon with orange, gold, and fuchsia aurora shimmers. Shown here in 2 coats, you may need 3 if you have a longer free edge. So this is one that's color accuracy is a struggle with my cameras. In the studio lighting and photos, it leans on the cooler pink side, which isn't really color accurate, but in the lower lighting and in person, it pulls a lot more warmer and almost like a neon Barbie pink. Passion Pink Sunrise is $13 with a cap of $300. This is Jen and Berry's Apibero, inspired by Blue Lava. Described as an ultramarine blue base with a red to gold shifting shimmer and holographic flakes. Shown here in 2 coats, you may need 3 if you have a longer free edge. It does dry with subtle texture, so a top coat is needed for a full glossy finish. The red of the shift is seen no matter the lighting, but the gold very much shows itself in the lower lighting. Apibero is $13.50 with a cap of $500. Here we have KB Shimmer's Magmatic Personality, inspired by volcanoes. Described as a black-based magnetic featuring red to black magnetic pigments that shift from deep red, a maroon, a silvery charcoal, and black. Depending on the angle, you might also catch hints of orange, gold, and a pink-leaning red. It also contains black to red flakes and iridescent flakes in purple, pink, yellow, and orange. The magnet used is the arc magnet from Lantern and Wren. You can see all the shifts no matter the lighting, but they really dance on the nails and stand out when under the lower lighting. Magmatic Personality is $13 with no cap. Next is Limby Designs It's a Phenomenon, inspired by leaves changing color in the fall. Described as a berry-leaning purple base filled with red, orange, and gold shifting shimmer. Shown here in 2 coats, you may need 3 if you have a longer free edge. A bit of the gold shimmer shows up in the studio lighting, but it really comes to life in the lower lighting. It's a Phenomenon is $13 with no cap. This is Night Owl Lacquer's Tree of Life, inspired by the Claylock Tree of Life. Described as a linear holographic multichrome that shifts between a light mossy green, olive green, and dark green. Shown here in 2 coats, you may need 3 if you have a longer free edge. You can see all the shifts no matter the lighting, but the olive green shift really takes over in the lower lighting. Tree of Life is $13 with no cap. Here we have Live Laugh Lava by Painted Polish, inspired by lava. Described as a dark vampy scarlet base with crushed gold metallic flakies. Shown here in 2 coats, it does dry with some texture, so a top coat is needed for a smooth glossy finish. This is one that mostly looks the same no matter the lighting, but the shifts of the gold metallic flakes do stand out a bit more in the lower lighting. Live Laugh Lava is $13 with no cap. Next is Pampered Polish's Say It Ain't Snow, inspired by snow. Described as a milky blue tinted base with a scattered holographic effect, iridescent glitters, iridescent flakies, and white glitter. Shown here in 3 coats, it does dry with some texture, so a top coat is needed for a smooth glossy finish. This is another that pretty much looks the same no matter the lighting, but all the glitters and the flakes do sparkle a bit more in the studio lighting and the sunlight. Say It Ain't Snow is $13 with no cap. This is Divine Sky by Penelope Luz, inspired by the Aurora Borealis, described as a pastel turquoise magnetic with purple to red shimmer. Shown here in 2 coats, you may need 3 if you have a longer free edge. The magnet used is the arc magnet from Lantern and Wren. This has a silvery magnetic pull to it, and you can see the purple to red shimmer in all the lighting, but the red of the shift very much tries to take over in the lower lighting. Divine Sky is $13 with a cap of $700. Next is Rogue Lacquer's The Wave, inspired by the sandstone rock formation in Arizona called The Wave. Described as a peachy tan crelly with strong red to copper shimmer, shown here in 2 coats. You may need 3 if you have a longer free edge. You can see the shifts no matter the lighting, but the copper of the shimmer really steals the show in the lower lighting. The Wave is $13.50 with no cap. And lastly, we have Glass Beach by Sovereign, inspired by a beach in California filled with sea glass. Described as an indigo blue with gold, blue, red, and green glitters. Shown here in 3 coats. It does dry with a good amount of texture, so a top coat is needed for a smooth glossy finish. This is one that looks the same no matter the lighting. Glass Beach is $12.75 with a cap of $150. My top pick is Garden Path Lacquer's Told the Northern Lights to Keep Shining. I love the color combo of the shifts in this one paired with the bright magenta glitters. This is one that I felt the cameras weren't doing it justice, and it's even more gorgeous in person. Second, I'm going to go with Night Owl Lacquer's Tree of Life. It's such a beautiful earthy shade that's perfect for the fall season. And last, I'm going to go with Rogue Lacquer's The Wave. I'm not one to usually lean towards these lighter shades, but this one surprised me and was just so freaking pretty with the coppery shifts. This is another one I think looks even more glorious in person than on camera. What are your favorites this month? Let me know in the comments. Polish Pickup goes live October 4th through the 7th at polishpickup.com, and some of these pretties do have caps, so be sure to set those alarms so you don't miss out. And that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!